Albuquerque's police department is in trouble yet again this morning, this time for what officers did to a couple of kids. The city is going to head to court and trial because of what happened to two 10-year-olds. In two separate incidents, Albuquerque police officers handcuffed these kids and put them in cop cars. The children's attorney says this amounts to child abuse.
They should not be handcuffed. They should not be bound. It's psychologically damaging to children. So we want that to end.
Well, the city does not deny the kids were put in handcuffs. In fact, it admits it and maintains that officers had the right to do that. The suit will probably go to trial at the beginning of next year. We'll keep you updated on what happens. Parents, please pay attention to this. If you're worried about a suspected door-to-door child predator, you can breathe a little easier this morning. There's a text message that's been going around Silver City, Deming, Las Cruces, and other parts of southern New Mexico, and it warns parents about a Russian man who goes door-to-door selling books. The messages say the man is actually looking for children to abduct. Silver City School District even sent a letter home to parents with a similar warning to tell them to be extra careful. But the police chief says there is evidence that the text is fake. In fact, it's going around the whole country, not just New Mexico. The chief says there is no evidence that a man like this has even been in the area.
Right at this point, we don't find validity in the text message that is being sent out. Although we do caution people that anytime they have anyone doing door-to-door sales, make sure who they are, don't let them in. Just the usual precautions.
Investigators say the company in that text is actually legitimate and they found no complaints against it. Well, the State Department of Transportation is changing tactics this morning, using humor and a new character to drive home a very serious point that driving drunk can kill you.
Nothing to worry about, Officer Dwight Goodman on designated driver duty tonight. Boom!
They wanted to model him after John Candy and the movie Uncle Buck. Somebody, you know, the jolly guy sitting next to you in the car.
So there you go. Scare tactic campaigns like this one been successful over the years. You have seen them for sure. The new PSA shift the message from consequence to prevention, and the tone is going from dramatic to comedic.
These ads are specifically targeting the 15 through 34-year-old audience, and these drivers are the most likely to engage in risky and even deadly driving behavior. 15?
I think people are even allowed to drive then, much less drive drunk. All right, the DOT rolled out these spots in June as part of the 100 Days of Nights and Summer campaign. The PSAs cost $300,000 to make, and hopefully they get the message across. Well, neighbors are now attempting to crush a grape grower's plan to grow his small vineyard into a bigger business in Albuquerque, to stomp it out, so to speak. Xavier Zamaripa has about 600 grapevines at his home in the North Valley near Alameda and Guadalupe Trail. He wants to expand to 3,000 vines on some property nearby and even build a gallery to feature his artwork and that of other local artists. To do that, he has to get the county to change his property zoning from residential to special use. Now, though, 30 neighbors don't want that to happen, claiming it'll bring unwanted traffic and noise, but Zamaripa insists his plan fits the area.
It's calm, it's casual, it goes with the North Valley.
I feel he came in with a sense of entitlement that he could come in, change the rules to fit his vision, his project.
Zamaripa has revised his plans to ease traffic concerns. He intends to submit the project to the Planning Commission sometime soon. Well, a 60-year-old man is Bernalillo County's first human case of West Nile virus this year. The state health department says developed into encephalitis, a very serious condition, and the man had to go to the hospital. It's the fourth case confirmed of West Nile in the state and people this year. Recent rains have created great mosquito breeding grounds. It's a downside of all the rain as much as we need it, and all those mosquitoes just add to the threat for West Nile. Well, it is pretty common for folks here in New Mexico to ship green chili to family and friends out of state. However, if they do that, they want to check it because, particularly going to California, it could cause some big problems. All right, City of Hobbs in southeastern New Mexico has put emergency water restrictions into place, but it has nothing to do with the drought. It's more of an age issue.
Those lines and those valves were actually installed probably in 1957 and 1960s. They weren't operable anymore.
No, people cannot water their lawns because an old water valve is leaking. To fix that problem, the city had to shut down one of the city's main water pumps, which depleted a lot of the city's water supply. Bad news for folks with lush lawns.
You can't water this. well, they're gonna dry out.
Fortunately, there's not a whole lot we can do. It's just a matter of is water available.
People in Hobbs are being asked not to water anything outside, including their gardens. City leaders say the restrictions could be lifted as early as today. All right, the drought watch has ended here in Bernalillo County thanks to our summer monsoon. As a result, the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Water Authority is easing up on fines for folks caught wasting water. Fines were doubled, as you remember, for watering lawns at the wrong time or letting a sprinkler water run down a gutter. I see a lot of that. The authority says all the rain we got last month and people conserving are allowing them to end the extra penalties. But even though we are seeing the drought watch lifted in the city, the state is still in dire straits. Take a look at the latest drought map from the National Weather Service. Dark red here represents exceptional drought, the worst category. Now, a comparison map shows how much it has shrunk since May. The old one on the left, the new one on the right. This year, meteorologist Kristen Van Dyke tells us New Mexico has gotten just about 71% of the rain that we normally get. We are not out of the woods by any means. You can't fix a drought, the worst in a century, in a matter of just 1 month. Well, the space shuttle only landed in New Mexico once, and now one of the astronauts on board, when it landed, sadly has passed away. See, Gordon Fullerton right here was a pilot of Columbia when it touched down at White Sands Missile Range back in 1982. It was the third flight of the shuttle program, a test flight by Fullerton and Jack Loosma to check out systems used by later crews on operational missions. Flooding at Edwards Air Force Base in California forced Columbia to land in New Mexico. Fullerton had a stroke several years ago, and he died yesterday at a care facility in California. He was 76 years old.